Nice. My favourite.
That was my favourite for Jack. I've already had some success out there.
Thanks, bro.
Okay, so we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's stream where we are going to be continuing to review DoobieFish's deep run in this 109 Half Price Milli Wcoop. Almost 17,000 players. We're joined today by the motley crew of Dawhiteninja, FUGLIEE, VanH3lzing and DoobieFish. And also tonight we are joined by a very, very special guest with over $2 million in live earnings. His best cash is 1.2 million at the World Series of Poker main events. And he's ranking currently 48th in the all-time money list in England and 749th overall. It is, of course, Mr. Jack Sinclair. How you doing, Jack?
Howdy. That was a wonderful intro.
I felt like I should have done a little bit more Joey Ingram about it,
Wow.
but I didn't have any nicknames or anything for you, so well,
yeah. Nicknames. I'm not gonna tell you anyway.
Jack's incredible.
Yeah, I mean you could go with that.
Okay. Well, I guess we should we can go straight in. If you guys can just make sure you're keeping an eye on the chat. See Tough Nuts in the chat already. And yeah, so we'll just go. If there are any questions in the chat, or if you guys have any questions, I'm going to obviously invite you all to talk and give your thoughts on this hand history, and just chime in as and when ready. Everyone ready to rock?
Where do I see the chat?
Where do you see what?
The chat. Oh, is that like on Twitch? Yeah.
Just on Twitch, yeah.
On Twitch, yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm new here. I need to.
Fucking live players.
That's it. All right.
To be fair, I've only just learned that in the last week myself when I stream.
Okay, so let's jump straight in then. What I've done differently this time than a couple of weeks ago is just looked at the hands that DoobieFish V-pipped. Otherwise, we're just going to be looking through lots of hands, and I think we spent like 35 minutes on one hand last time. So just done the hands that you V-pipped. Okay, we're going to miss some where you fold Jack 10 off versus a min raise in the big blind. But we'll let you off, and yeah, let's go. All right, so we start with 2.14 here. From the cutoff, the big blind defends, big blind checks, and it's on us. DoobieFish, do you want to take it away from here?
No.
Okay.
Well, this is a clear two big blind bet. Or actually, probably make it one. You can make it 1.5. It's a good bluff candidate. We've got somewhat of a range advantage. Can have a lot of stronger hands versus him. Bet it's a good starting point.
Yep, I like it. Does anyone disagree and want to check here?
No, I think it's a clear C bet, but not huge. Like quarter as a 1.5 bigs sounds good.
Okay.
One third max, probably.
Yeah.
I've got a question for Jack. Have you got any like strong views on like C-bet sizing in general? Because I feel like they're generally getting smaller over sort of recent years. Is there anything that you think is particularly bad on various boards, or like do you have two sizings or that sort of thing?
Yeah, I've been experimenting a lot with different C-bet sizings these days. Some trying to work in a few overbets here and there, but I haven't really figured that one out so much. So I'm going to leave that one for now. In terms of like the small C-betting size, I mean, when I play online, I have like 8, 10, 12 tables on the go. Like I just have the thing that's set to 30%, and I just smash that all day. I'm not like trying to figure out like, oh, maybe this is the 34% time and this is the 25 or whatever. I mean, the super dry flops, like if this was ace, deuce, deuce, I mean, I think like 1 to 1.5 big blinds is clearly better than 2.
Yeah.
But like for this board, it's the difference between 20 and 30 is like so marginal. I don't think it really matters.
Cool.
You could argue for checking this hand back, but like against super like passive weak opponents, but then even then, like you might want to see that against these guys. So yeah, I think in general, like when you're multi-tabling online, like if you have a clear any 2C bet, you should just always take it.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. So we go for a pretty small.
Yeah, nice size.
And big blind folds. Okay, next one.
Go
ahead.
Can I just quickly get my disclaimer out again, Gaz, because Jack's probably not seen. I was 16 or 17 tabling on this day. It went a bit crazy, so there's going to be some mistakes in there. So just get that out there.
Anytime I make a mistake, I was definitely 16.
Even when you're playing live.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you don't understand. I know I dunked it off, but I had like 3 tablets on my knees. You know?
Okay. So opening here, A7, taking it down. Too exciting.
So I'd say, I think we mentioned that in the previous video. I don't really like. I think I don't need to go that big with my open as well.
Okay.
Definitely. That was a case of the preset button that I would use when we're deeper and
I think
sloppy.
I think you made it 2.14. Yeah. So
I've got a couple. Yeah, there's 2.29, 2.14. I've actually since changed those.
Yeah, I think being consistent is probably the most
I'm
important thing.
normally conscious of being consistent, but I just don't think I need to go open that big. But that's maybe a small detail that adds up.
Cool. Okay, well, take that one down. Follows with King 10. Okay, so you're already going to be...
You've gone pretty quiet, Gaz.
Yes,
Gaz gone quite
sound's gone a bit funny, Gaz.
Really? You hear me now?
There's like some feedback and stuff.
Okay, it's not good. How about now?
It's not great.
No?
It was fine before.
At least 1 second.
Looks like Jack's frozen as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
He might just be putting on a really good poker face.
I thought he was just doing really pensively.
Okay.
If that is his poker face, it's impressive.
I'm going to try and sort my sound out, so I'll leave you on this flop just to discuss it amongst yourselves, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Halsey, as you're fresh off a $4,000 score on Monday night, why don't you talk us through
mate.
Yeah, congrats, mate.
Cheers,
Highest. We've been doing it for a week. It's the highest streaming score thus far. Pretty decent score as well for $33 buy-in. So
Yeah, decent. You had a deep run as well in that one. Shame not to have a dual FT.
no one cares about the bridesmaids, mate. What about this flop? King 10 off on Ace 2-2. Or Ace Deuce Deuce raise cut off big blind flats.
It's quite interesting. I mean, it's quite a dry board. I wouldn't necessarily say we have range advantage because like we're both gonna have like pretty wide ranges. Like he's never really gonna have aces though, and we can have aces. I mean, he can have aces, but I think most people 3-bet pre.
You can have suited aces, right?
He can have some suited aces. Yeah. If you do c-bet, like you can probably fire maybe like a queen turn, jack turn. And even like if you turn a king, for example, you might even have the best hand like against his 9s, 8s, 7s. I'm not sure between c-bet or check here, to be honest. I guess you do want to have like just some bluffs obviously on this board. I guess this is quite a good candidate. You can probably bet multiple times and put a lot of pressure on like his hands, like I don't know, eights down to 3s sort of thing.
Okay.
What
we
are your thoughts?
just got a message through that Jack's computer
I
is
think I might
crashed.
choose to c-bet bluff-wise with something with a little bit less showdown. So like maybe because this was just an open and a flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like 10-9 suited, 10-8 suited with backdoors here, or something that we can c-bet that isn't just like king high, and then look at some turns and maybe fire delayed c-bet if we do check this. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Can you guys hear me or not?
Yeah, but yours sounds like quiet with like sort of a ringing when you speak, mate.
Okay, well, that's going to be something wrong with the computer, and obviously we've already started the stream, so I'm going to keep it going.
If you quit this, did you quit the Skype call and rejoin?
No, it's nothing. It won't be to do with Skype, because I don't think anyway. I mean, maybe we can ask the audience what the what my sound is like, and if it's wrong, then I can switch to a different mic.
Yeah.
Okay, bear with us, Twitch. We'll be back. Still new to this, obviously.
It seems to be okay, like on
Okay, that's interesting.
OBS.
That's fine. Wow.
So can you maybe just jump out of Skype and come back?
Yeah, I think that's good. Hopefully this
And,
will work.
All the sound is great. That's so weird.
That's so odd. Is it because we've got TeamViewer running at the same time as Skype?
Yeah,
I
not,
think so.
not sure. Looks like Jack's
never
back.
heard this
I'm going to drop
before.
out and come back in.
You're just in time because we're actually somewhat stuck on this spot. So we've got King 10 in the cut-off here, and then we open and then we get the big button flats, and we get this flop. So what are you doing in this spot and why?
Yeah, a classic annoying situation, huh? I mean, the first question you want to ask in this spot when you're out of position is, can you like just c-bet any two here? Because if you can c-bet any two on any board, it's going to be this one. When you're out of position. I think realistically it's fine to just c-bet anything. Like, your opponent is going to flat a lot of stuff that just has to like auto fold on this board. Stuff like 7-8 suited, 8-9 suited, 9-10 suited, all these sorts of hands that just completely whiff. The problem here is like he's all.
Don't know if we've maybe lost Jack. How's my sound now?
It's the same.
Is it? It's really bizarre. So running into some technical difficulties, guys, this evening. Don't know if Jack's computer's crashed again. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back on. Sounded like he had some really good insight here. Doobie, what would you do here?
Yeah, I like the idea of c-betting like really high frequency here, just because so many of his hands, like, how's he going to continue that they haven't got an ace in? Like, obviously he's gonna peel one with some pairs, but yeah, I guess saying that, yeah, that's some like suited board ways where he's got backdoor flush draw maybe, but I think c-betting the small sizing is probably the best play, maybe the standard play.
So if you're going to have any checks on this board, what hand combinations would you be choosing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what's the advantage of checking over c-betting here?
Maybe something like queens, jacks.
Yeah.
Tens, something like that as a check, maybe.
So
I guess the only problem then is that
really
helps us, isn't it?
You're not going to get raised on this board very often if you do choose to c-bet those hands, but
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get raised, are you?
no.
And then you got on the turn, you got some good cards that can get him off, like the hands that beat you those small pairs.
Yeah.
Like a queen, a king, obviously a 10 and a king. Sorry, a queen and a jack and a 10 and a king are obviously good cards, equity wise, because we're never really going to get him off an ace unless we, unless we get our VanH3lzing triples out.
Yeah.
Which might be tough, or it might be an option if a queen or a jack rolls off.
Yeah,
but
so
probably not at this stacked up.
So is my sound so bad that you guys can't hear me, or
It's very
We hear
faint.
you.
I think we can get away with it.
Yeah.
It's very faint.
okay?
If the viewers can't hear the feedback, then I guess it's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it must
I
be
agree.
a
Let's carry
problem.
on.
Problem with Skype. So the smaller we bet here, the more likely we are to get floated. Like, a lot of hands that still dominate us, like king, queen, king, jack. If we're going really, really small. So someone asked what the benefits were of betting over checking here. Like, we can just get some hands to fold that have like 6 outs, like a 9-8 suited kind of hand, just to throw its hand away at this stage. But obviously, the smaller we bet, the more he's going to continue anyway. So, like, is there a real benefit to betting? Anyone got any thoughts on that?
I can't hear Gaz now, can you?
No, it looks like Jack's gone off again. Jack, you still there? Oh yeah, Jack's there. Jack, the question is in the chat. In the chat is when I couldn't hear what Gaz ended up saying there, but if we check and the guy bets say 2 big blinds, are we ending up calling this bet?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I mean, I think it's borderline a check fold actually in this spot. Like the GTO for sure is to never fold this hand on this flop, you know, unless it goes bet raised. They don't, you know, with like 8 high or 9 high. Or at least that's my read of the population. I could be wrong. I don't play so many 109s, and it could be that, like, you know, the population is actually just like stabbing randomly anytime you check to them, which could well be the case. In which case, it makes check calling actually pretty good. But it also adds more merit to betting as well. So in that scenario, I'd be inclined just to bet in general. But no, from what I see from people, I find that when you check to them on this board, they have just some random trash, they just give up and check back, and you have a super profitable turn bet with any of your trash.
Okay.
That makes sense. So like, I'm kind of much more of a fan of betting this hand, and maybe like even if you wanted to start checking, you know, based on the fact that you're not going to get bluffed, you could check like hands that are just have nothing going on at all, you know, like whatever 7 high, and then just betting them on the river if they check back, betting them on the turn if they check back, and just check folding the flop. Yep. I mean, this is a super exploitable strategy, obviously, because you're like, anytime you check this board, you're like, you either have top set or you're check folding. But regardless, you know, that this would be a very exploitative strategy you could use on this board.
What about when you have got an ace-x hand as like an exploitable strategy, exploitative strategy, checking your ace-x here with the idea that they're not going to have ace-x very much, and you're not going to get free streets anyway, so inducing bluffs and then going for like 2 bets potentially, or just potentially either c-betting turn or trying to induce bluffs. Are we just like, because what are we losing value against when we don't bet our ace-x here?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to do. I mean, if you're going to check, if you're going to have any checking range on this board, it makes sense to check some aces. Not really to, I mean, in reality, I don't think it's really to induce so many bluffs on this flop, although you do give them the option. So obviously it's going to be more than, you know, it's not going to be an insignificant increase. But the main reason is that you want them to just hit a pair on the turn with a hand that would have folded on.
Let them catch up.
Yeah, if they're only ever calling 2 bets with like the vast majority of hands you beat, then for sure it can make sense to check the flop, hope that they turn a pair and then bet twice. And you know, you get called down by all the same hands anyway that would have called flop and turn.
Yeah.
I mean, the only downside to this play is like, you know, if they have something like pocket 4s that would have folded the flop, and you just give them a free roll. But it's not a big deal to give them, you know, whatever, 8% free roll or something.
Yeah.
Okay, what's my sound like now, guys? I've restarted Skype.
Yeah, a little bit better.
Yeah? No ringing anymore. Okay, so let's see what Doobie did. Doobie did check. There goes check, check. So what Jack's recommending then on the turn is to lead a lot of the trash. Is this just a little bit too good to bet, though? Still have a decent amount of showdown value? It's unlikely that he's going to have a worse hand by the river that doesn't decide to bluff, right?
Yeah, I mean, now betting is like accomplishing less than it did on the flop, because your opponent has now turned a 6 with a bunch of hands, turned a flush draw with a bunch of hands, and like you now don't have the option to three. So the EV of betting the flop's higher than now, and like you kind of have decent showdown, and your opponent has already let you get to the turn. So you're actually more likely to get to showdown by checking now. So I think all the reasons to bet on the flop have been made worse on this turn, and all the reasons for checking on the flop have been made better on this turn. So I would be inclined to just check here again.
Okay.
And just try and get to showdown at this point.
Good stuff. Anyone want to add anything, or should we see what happens?
No, sounds good.
Like it.
So we do check.
I would say though now your opponent actually is fairly likely to start bluffing. So I wouldn't. Where I was like I kind of feel like it's a very marginal check call on the flop with King 10. It's like I think you have to check call this turn because as I said, your opponent can pick up a flush draw now, and also when you check this flop, your opponent is going to perceive you to never have a check fold, or very rarely. And now on this turn, you've checked twice, so they're just going to think that you have a weak hand, and it's more likely to start bluffing now.
Cool. I like it. Okay, so he checks back again. We get the Queen of Spades on the river. Ninja, do you want to chime in here? Thoughts on this river card?
Yeah, I feel like I personally feel like the guy is showdown value. I think anything that would have beaten our hand, I think would have taken, or likely have taken a stab on the turn. So like all of his queen highs, etc., that we were beating, and I think that I think if the river had been a 6 or a 5 or a 4, we could have maybe tried to get the showdown value. But on this, I just don't think we're going to be good enough of the time. So I would like to see a bluff of about 4 big blinds, I think.
Cool. Okay. Would you say that having the king and the 10 in your hand blocking him from having king queen and queen 10, which is going to make up a lot of his really easy river calls, is significant here? Like, is that better than having like 8 high? Because he's less likely to have like queen 8 or queen 7. Still can't hear me?
I think you're saying that like the king 10 is blocking king queen and queen 10. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, which does make it a good. I mean, that's a good thing for bluffing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's going through my head here is what do we really rep when we can obviously try and rep king queen on the river, but if he's got pocket 7s or 8s or something, he's just not folding to one bet on the river. So I feel like, although I feel like we're not probably good here, I just don't know if trying to bluff here on the river is going to be profitable, but happy to be persuaded otherwise.
I think if you're going to bluff here, you have to bet pretty big.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, obviously it looks pretty bluffy because, what are you trying to say you have when you bet big here? Basically just a queen that's like, figures is always good, which is correct. But then people can always talk themselves into calling because, you bet big, would you really do that with a queen? Even though you would, that doesn't mean that they're thinking at that level.
Yeah.
I find in this situation, like it's really helpful to have some sort of read on your opponent.
Yeah.
Like if this guy is, some sort of thinking player, I would for sure be betting big here, because it really looks like they have something like 7s or 5s or whatever.
Yeah.
And if I had a queen here, I'd for sure be betting pot, or roughly that, maybe a little bit over. So I'd be quite inclined to do that with this hand if I knew that they were capable. You also have you probably have a profitable check call here, just because if they actually did check back nothing twice, they're gonna probably feel compelled to bluff it now.
Yeah.
But it is very unusual to find a player that checks back nothing twice.
Yeah.
Okay. We see a check and a check.
Nice.
Okay.
I had no idea what happened in that hand at any point.